Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And Corey Feldman has been in the news recently over the last week. And I haven't commented on it yet because I kind of wanted to see what this press tour was going to be like, what some of the headlines were. And of course, we're eagerly awaiting his new documentary film that apparently is only going to air once via a live stream in March, but we'll get to that in a moment. Before I even get into his allegations, the sexual abuse that is rampant in Hollywood and other institutions of power, I want to say this. There is not one of us watching this, unless you are of like 0.0001% of the global populace that can understand not only being a child actor, because that's got to be hard enough, right? To be put in that situation at a young age over and over and over and over again, whether it's part of the Hollywood system or systems outside of that's probably very trying in itself. But now, put superstar in there, and not just like superstar for like, a picture. Don't get me wrong, Macaulay Culkin, hit that level, but Corey Feldman, he had a decade and a half plus run before it got to like B movie status. I want to put that out there. So none of us out there at all can even try to grasp what this person has went through basically his whole life, throughout his entire memories as a person in this system of grotesqueness. Now, let's lump that on with a massive amount of not only sexual abuse, but drug and alcohol abuse at a very young age. Look what happened to Drew Barrymore. God bless her for being able to work her way out of that, at least in some public respects. But, when you look at the other one that didn't make it behind me, Corey Haim, you can't help but feel some sympathy. And now I know there are some critics out there that say, oh, he's in it for a money grab. He did name Grissom, one of his abusers. Has he named all of his abusers? I don't know that he has. Okay? Has he named Corey Haim's abuser? Well, we're going to get into that in a moment. But before we do, and before we get into how people are going to be able to watch this, and quite frankly, I think I'm giving my money. If it's like $9.99 or $19.99, I'm probably going to buy this and put it out there because I think it's important, okay? So right now the headlines are things like he's living in fear, he's hired 24-hour protection, etc. But I want to point out that this is a pandemic not only in Hollywood, okay, but in all institutions of power. High-level religious institutions, right? Obviously, our own political system has been exposed again and again for having high-level predators in it. The middlemen like Anthony Weiner are out there, those kind of perverts in the power structure. But then you have someone like Dennis Assert that gets way up there. And let's not forget Sir Edward Heath overseas, right? Or Lord Mountbatten. We could continue, We could continue into, the Catholic Church, etc. All that stuff has been exposed on some level, but it's still very rampant, and especially in Hollywood. So he's on this press tour. March 9th, it's going to appear on his website. Right now, the My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, it doesn't have the doc site that's there, but you're going to be able to go. I don't know how much it's going to be, whatever. I'm kind of on board with this. I hope it goes viral. He basically, this is it. I'm sure he's not going to encourage people to distribute everything, right? But it's supposedly going to stream one time. A ton of people are going to capture it. It'll be on file share networks, I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to be uploaded everywhere. But I say give him your cash for doing this. Now here's the next thing. He says that after that one time, I watched some interviews. He's going to, see what's going to happen, if anybody's going to pick it up. He brought it to Sundance. Listen, this isn't the type of thing that Hollywood, okay, and the entertainment industry is going to promote. And we're going to go beyond Corey Feldman in a moment. We're going to talk about Bella Thorne especially. and Disney and Nickelodeon, and we could talk about Dan Schneider and a lot more, because a lot of people still haven't been brought to justice. In fact, Grissom, the abuser of Feldman that he named, is in Mexico on the run. You know, he didn't want to register as a sexual abuser of children. It's grotesque. It's disgusting. So, you know, he shopped us around at Sundance a few weeks ago. And, you know, I don't think there's going to be interest. But the guy continues to tell the truth. Look, the Me Too movement is a joke. It's a whitewash. Weinstein's going to walk. I don't even think he's getting a slap on the resort sentence. And if he does, he'll probably appeal it. And the appeals, this process is going to take years and years and years. And then finally, when it's over, you know, he'll be on some kind of special program. And yes, pedophilia is still the biggest problem. And that's why it's still not addressed at all. So who do I think? I know a lot of people are out there thinking that he's going to name Steven Spielberg because of their connection to the Goonies. I wouldn't bet on it. Okay, I wouldn't bet on it. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that what you're going to see is kind of, it's already out there. I'm warning people. And this is kind of an odd relationship for me, if anybody knows my history. But Charlie Sheen has denied, but was basically outed, I believe it was a National Enquirer piece, as, you know, molesting Corey Haim when he was, I believe, 13 in 1986 on the set of Lucas. Okay? And since then, you know, it's pretty much come out that Sheen is a bisexual. He does have HIV. If you've read some of the tabloids, I mean, there's supposedly tapes with him with transsexuals, etc. So, you know, it's kind of hard for me to weigh in on that because, you know, Sheen was a big 9/11 promoter before he went to Tiger Blood and all that other stuff, and I met him several times. You know, obviously, I never saw anything. I had very limited contact, but, you know, I went to a taping of 2.5 Men, and et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, if this happened, it should be outed. People should know what's going on. But I suspect the documentary, at least at the highest level, is going to mention Sheen. So, I also wanted to mention Bella Thorne. Why? Because this has never really been the focus of Bella Thorne's story. And, you know, right now, I mean, she's directed pornography, and this was a big Disney star at the time. And Insider did a really great piece. Bella Thorne opened about her childhood sexual abuse and why she never went to police. First of all, I've played a clip in an earlier video of her going off, talking about how she was abused from the time she was 6 to 14. And basically, she also says, it's from the time I can remember. Think about that being your first memory, your first real memory. I mean, it's traumatic enough, right? Especially when you're at that age, when you're literally like a first grader. It's appalling. It's disgusting. And I want to read some of this because this is out of her book, okay? In her new book, The Life of a Wannabe Mogul, Mental Disarray, the author, former actress Bella Thorne, opened up about her childhood sexual abuse in a heartbreaking poem. He didn't have to deal with the countless times he molested me. He didn't deal with the countless times I felt ashamed or disgusting. Thorne, 21, wrote in the poem. This is last year, by the way. Okay? And by the way, in that interview I played, she talks about how everybody around her knew. It wasn't this is why the film is called An Open Secret, outing Bryan Singer and others, because it is an open secret these people are doing this. Okay? Putting trust or love into your captor because it's the only way you can deal with the situation in front of you. So in other words, you end up, you know, being affectionate. It's the only way to deal with it. The only way to deal with it, I guess, is by loving it. Loving this cruel nature of his. Hating what he was doing to me, but trying to convince myself that I loved it. That it was normal. They normalized this. Especially in Hollywood. Okay? Thorne also said she struggled with feeling selfish for not doing more to stop the abuse. I was letting it happen to me. I wasn't kicking his teeth in. So how can I sit here and write this and do nothing about it? Because I'm selfish. There's a sense of shame when this happens to you. I can't imagine. At age 6, at age 6 until she was 14. Okay? I mean, her entire life. Over and over, I waited for it to stop, and finally it did. But some of us aren't lucky to get out alive. Okay? And there's the Time's Up, the Me Too. It's all bullshit. It's unbelievable. I just want to play this one little excerpt that I haven't played from a separate interview, because this was kind of buried. This wasn't a national headline story. Disney's good at managing, the media, because they are the media. They own Star Wars. They own the Avengers. They own the Marvel franchises. They own ESPN Plus. They're everywhere.
Who she is today.
Was it because I was molested my whole life? Exposed to sex at such a young age that feels the most natural to offer the world? Or is it because I was raised to think I wasn't good enough?
The abuse lasted, she says, through till adolescence.
How did the young you perceive what was happening?
Definitely Stockholm Syndrome. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're raised with someone and you don't know that it's wrong, it's just very like an everyday occurrence, like no big deal. And so that's kind of how I treated it, like no big deal.
Some survivors I've interviewed have told me that they have anger towards the adults who couldn't protect them.
Well, let's just stop it there. Think about that. Think about how normalized this gets in. And she's much more reserved here, much more reserved from the other video I've played in the previous. But again, how many people know this? How many people understand? Again, it's an open secret that right now this is happening to current stars on the Nickelodeon network, on the Disney network. Okay? You think Cameron Boyce really just suddenly died? I don't want to throw any conspiracies out there. But I have to ask myself if Cameron Boyce may have been abused as a child through this very system.
I think that you have anger towards society in general. This is something that has literally happened in everyone's doorstep.
Thorne explores the
So there it is, guys. Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Guys, we continue to lose subscribers. So make sure if you are watching this that you are actually subscribed. If you think you are, ring the notification bell. We're trying to grow to 40,000. Who knows if we'll ever get there. I'd like to say that it is cool that I'm on this other platform. There's 5 exclusive videos a week, also some throwbacks. I threw up an interview in studio with Cindy Sheehan when there was an anti-war movement back in the day. But for $9.99 a month, you get 5 extra videos a week, plus everybody else's content on Rockfin, which is awesome. Activists, I need you out there right now. So Action for Assange is calling for people. I'm going to put this link in there. For people to speak out for Assange, do actions, taping it, and then send it via MP4 format over to them so they can do a compilation video. If you believe in free speech, if you think that we need to do something about WikiLeaks, if you want people's stories to be told, because you got to think to yourself, again, a lot of these guys at the top do molest children, and they also help control the military-industrial complex. And if it's in the national interest, like maybe for the United Kingdom, not to out a Lord Mountbatten that the FBI found to be a serial pedophile and said promote him, that's a problem. Don't want to be a leaktivist or a hacktivist, or what's the other one? A public disclosure organization. John Eater says, Happy Valentine's Day. Treats for karma. Thank you so much, John Eater. Thank you for the super chats. And guys, again, make sure you subscribe. Thumbs up. Please check to make sure you're subscribed. I'd love to get to 40,000. Post these on your blogs. Email them to your friends. Watch my documentary films. They're all free. And guys, if we make another $751 before Monday, today's Friday, I will go to DC. I will join the Action for Assange crew for at least a day or two, and we will live stream from there as well. I absolutely love you guys. Please share this very important information. Get it out there, and I'll see you on the flip.